All right, let's stay with the story now and speak to Eastern Cape COGTA MEC, Zolile Williams. Good evening to you, MEC, and thank you so much for your time. 4 people reported to have died and over 3,000 have been evacuated. This follows, of course, the heavy rains in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro yesterday. Is this still the case?
Good evening, Bongiwe, and good evening to the viewers. Yes, indeed, Bongiwe, we are currently busy with mop-up operations. And we have restored electricity in about 90% of the areas which were affected. And also, we have got about 7 jetting machines that are busy blasting stormwater drainage systems so that they can be opened for rainwater to go through. We also are having a plan to continue with operations and maintenance of drainage systems on a daily basis. Communities that have been affected, we have relocated them to areas of safety like community halls. I may not be certain about what the communities of Kariega are saying about being relocated into wet areas. In our assessment yesterday, we've been to every area. There was no area which still had water. So I may not really be certain about that, but it's a matter that I can...
But are you going to investigate?
Yes, it's a matter that I will investigate definitely. And now that the rains have subsided a bit, so we're busy, we're trying to push that the roads are accessible, people can go back homes, and we're providing to comfort the people, healthcare facilities, babies' nappies, and all the necessities like food, because people have been affected badly by this devastation. And I must indicate that the local economy has been hugely affected. About 62% of the workforce couldn't go to work to the factories around Nelson Mandela. And small businesses were also affected. The taxi industry could not operate today because of the roads that we couldn't use. So we're trying to mitigate those things. But as I said, it's bad to react when there's disaster, when we've got a disaster risk strategy and disaster risk plan, but we just fail on implementing that plan. It's quite bad, and we can only depend on city officials to do their best in ensuring that people live in a city which is well maintained, with infrastructure, is fully operational, because this is a mega city, this is a big city to fail in terms of infrastructure.
And I want to stay with that point, because yesterday we were in conversation with the mayor, but the mayor says that there have been no funds that have been dispersed as far as, disaster management funds are concerned, and they've not been able to deal with the issue of infrastructure in order to be able to ensure that residents do not find themselves in this position.
Well, indeed, we have not received funding from the national government for the June disasters that we experienced. But that's not an excuse, Bongiwe, for daily operations and maintenance. They do not require national funding. The major infrastructure was affected during June disasters. And those are roads and bridges and schools, all the major infrastructure. Now, that allocation, the minister yesterday confirmed to me that he's signing off the Gazette for us to get money for that. But this is about operations and maintenance and the management of refuse, because when you don't manage refuse properly, it gets into your stormwater channels and block the stormwater, and then you will have a man-made disaster at the end.
So it sounds like someone was sleeping on the job. Where are you looking to when it comes to accountability?
We are holding officials accountable and politicians who must hold officials accountable. And I have indicated in the past 6 months we were here. And 3 weeks ago I was here just to take rounds on what has been done. To my surprise, the work was not done in terms of stormwater channels, their maintenance and cleanliness. And now I think heads must roll, and we must implement consequence management against city officials and councillors to take responsibility and be accountable for the life of our citizens. This disaster could have been avoided, in my view.
So certainly could have been avoided. Consequence management, you talk about that, but what will it look like? Because I'm sure residents who are watching tonight want to know that, yes, we can talk tough, but what will this action look like?
Look, we are here. The HOD of our department is in the municipality since yesterday. I want a report on who has slept on duty so that we can take action, but also we're prepared to allocate more resources in terms of senior engineers to come and support this municipality, because we have supported them by giving the acting municipal manager. We can see that he's been liquidated by the challenges, so we would want to add more senior managers like engineers to come and assist and support the municipality so that the infrastructure can be operational.
Would you say, though, that also the other layer of this conversation are these funds that are also needed from national government as well to also assist to at least ensure that at some point, I know you say everyday operations must be done, but now you get to deal with these infrastructure challenges once and for all?
The national funds are needed as in yesterday, but I would resist to be denialist of the failure of the leadership and the officials to do their daily jobs by saying national funding is a problem. It is a problem because without that major infrastructure and roads reconnected to be made to work, we can't fully function as a city. But here we're confronting lack of passion for the job, lack of experience, lack of knowledge, that if drainage systems are not properly cleaned, if refuse is not managed, it's going to contribute to disaster. That's where I am coming from. Yeah. But national funding is needed as in yes.
And it's important, you know, as you say, to ensure that the right people are in the right jobs and they actually are doing the jobs for the residents. Let's talk about how long do you see, you know, yourselves working to ensure that everything goes back to normalcy. Will you be done by at least this week?
We will not be done by this week. We are aiming to be here. The Premier will be joining us to be here. We want a campaign of cleaning the city in terms of refuse management, because Port Elizabeth, Nelson Mandela is a dirty city. We need to clean the city. We need to manage stormwater drainage systems. So we will be here for some time to try and ensure that we monitor the situation until everything is in order and operational.
All right. And when can we then have a conversation with you about what would you have now learned about who is responsible, whose head needs to roll, and what action needs to take place? When do we reach out to you?
I think I will be available on Friday for that interaction, because we will be certain about what will happen. But I would like to make a call that the children and parents must ensure that children do not play in the water pools. We have told our disaster team to please indicate that children can be drowning in those water pools. Secondly, those pools are contaminated with sewer. Now, you may have E. coli in water and end up having cholera and diarrhea. So we would really want to discourage kids. I've seen kids swimming in one of the pictures that was sent to me. I would like to discourage parents from allowing kids to swim in those pools of water.
MEC, thank you so much for that update there. Let's catch up with you on Friday and see then how far you are with everything else, and of course the work that needs to be done, but also this accountability that now needs to get underway. I appreciate your time. That was the Eastern Cape COGTA MEC, Zolile Williams.